Hello you wonderful people out there in the world of YouTube. My name is Dan and for the last 12 months I have been in the world of freelance. I left my job to pursue a freelance career in the world of digital marketing. Every month I have been putting together a video about the highs, lows and everything in between, and this month, covering off April 2018, is to cover off the summary of how that time has been. April itself was a fantastic month for three key reasons. Number one, there was both myself and a number of friends went off to BrightonSEO. As the name would suggest, it is a big SEO conference taking place in Brighton. There, 3,500 digital marketers, including myself, went down to basically the seaside to hear a fantastic range of different digital marketing talks from about 80 different fantastic speakers from around the world about all things digital marketing. Number two was that the day after I went to an event run by Esquire. Now, Esquire ran something called EsquireSelfMade, which was a whole afternoon full of really positive motivational talks from a whole range of different people in the entrepreneurial world who have made it. The Esquire event was fantastic, not only for the fact that we got this amazing goodie bag. It was just really good to meet and network with other like-minded people both in that year one, year two period of running their own company. If it runs again and you happen to be in London, then keep an eye out for it because it's well worth attending. Number three is the big one for me. A couple of months ago, I mentioned the fact that I, with a business partner by the name of Jamie, was setting up a new business, and as of next month, that will be officially launched. We have done everything is ready. The name of that new business is The Way with Words. What we're going to be doing is putting together verbal identity documents. If you're not sure what a verbal identity document is, I'm going to be putting together a full video next month about both the business itself and how we have come about creating it. So I'm really pleased to say that it's finally there after many months. This video is here for the year summary for the last 12 months, last 365 days of what freelance life has been like for me. If I had to use one word to describe how freelancing has been, it would be different. Now, that sounds like a bit of a cop-out, I'll be completely honest with you, but it has been different to how I expected it to be. Some of the projects which I thought would be most fun to work on turned out were actually probably the most boring. Some of the work which I thought would be easiest turned out to be the hardest, and some of the projects which I thought would be hardest to win actually turned out to be the easiest. So a lot of my expectations were completely flipped on their head. Overall, freelance life has been fantastic. It has definitely been the right move for me. But that isn't to say that everyone who goes freelancing is going to experience this sort of never-ending summer of fantastic projects, loads of money, and a better way of living. There is no denying that freelance life has been hard. I have worked more hours in the last year than probably any other year based on my career so far. There have been periods where it's been incredibly lonely. And the biggest challenge for me though has been the responsibility of having it all on my own shoulders. So you spend a lot of time thinking things over and second guessing things and wondering, should I do this? Should I do that? Have I done this in the right way? Maybe I should do this. There's a lot of that internal chatter and internal thinking. It comes part and parcel, I think, of just being self-employed and trying to work through that and knowing which way is the right way to go is a very hard thing indeed, one which I'm still learning. The reason I went freelancing was for a number of reasons. Partly it was for the increased flexibility that you can obviously have from freelancing. Other things were in potentially more income, and also to get some more opportunities under my belt. And for all those things, the biggest thing that's happened has been the opportunities that have come in, which I just wouldn't have been able to do in previous jobs. Some examples of that have been that I've been fortunate enough to go to America to work there for a week. I've managed to work with a dream client, the National Trust, on some incredibly cool projects. I've been invited to speak at the Met Office, I've run a photo shoot, and I started this as well, this vlog. All those things I just wouldn't have had both the possibility or the time or the mental energy to pursue. And while I wouldn't say that everything is going exactly the way I'd like it to, it's certainly going in the right direction. I know that a huge number of people that I've spoken to over the last year, both online and in person, are thinking about doing something similar. They're thinking that potentially going into a self-employed environment, whether it is in digital marketing or a different career altogether, could be a good opportunity for them. I'm not going to sit here and say whether or not that is right for you. Personally, it has worked for me. It has been an advantageous step in my career in digital marketing. But if you are thinking about going into the world of freelance or digital marketing or both, then I put together kind of a different advice point, one for every month, so it's 12 in total, of things that you should probably consider or learn, which I feel that I've picked up over the last year. If you are thinking about going into a self-employed role, then number one, set rules for yourself. Boundaries between working life and personal life suddenly become a lot more blurred when you become freelance. Sit down and make a list of the things you are not prepared to do. If you have childcare responsibilities, for example, and you don't want to work, say, beyond 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, then make that a goal of yours. Do what works for you. Number two, tell everyone you are going self-employed and you are self-employed. That doesn't mean literally shouting it from the rooftops, but when people have asked me what I do for a living, I won't say, oh, I just work in marketing. I will say I'm self-employed digital marketing consultant. The fact that you are self-employed tends to open up an awful lot more conversations, either from people who are a little bit envious, if I'm honest, or the fact that they, or the people they know, might be interested in the services you are able to offer. But if they don't know that, then those conversations can't start. But it also keeps you accountable. So the next time you see them, and they are likely to ask how things are going, you can offer them a sort of essentially a progress report, which helps you stick to the line of whatever it is you're setting out to achieve. Number 3, try and learn as much as you can from others. One of the biggest things that I found is that freelancing is both time consuming and there are a hell of a lot of things to learn which aren't necessarily your core skill set. The thing is that you could sit down and try and learn from the ground up using research and tools online to build up a skill set. And in time that comes, but especially within your first year of freelancing, you haven't got much time. If there is an expert you can defer to, either to go through an accelerated course of learning or that they can take on the responsibilities of a specific area of expertise, then do it. Examples might be having someone to do your accounts for you, having someone you can call on with regards to legal matters, or if you're not in the world of digital marketing, having a marketing expert that you can speak to about how to best present your business. Number 4, be honest with how things are going. There are an awful lot of people out online, whether it's self-employed or not, who post this endless stream of social media updates where everything is glorious, everything is amazing, when in reality it might not be. The old adage goes that people buy from people, and as a sole trader or someone who is self-employed, essentially you, your name, are the brand, you are the business. And if you can offer an authentic discourse as to how things are genuinely going, that really helps build a meaningful relationship with your clients and customers. Number 5, don't feel guilty for taking time off. If I take an afternoon off, for example, I still feel that little bit of angst. The business could potentially explode and everything sort of suddenly nosedives in the course of a couple of hours. In reality, I know that's not going to happen, but the guilt, as it were, from spending so many years on a 9-to-5, a strict office hours basis, means that actually things won't go wrong in that space of time. At the end of the day, freelance life gives you flexibility. It still means you need to do the hours, it just means that doing it at different times. One of the things I'm learning is to use the advantages that freelance life offers. Number 6, work on bigger projects. Over the last year and in the background, I've been working on a good number of different bigger projects, dedicating an amount of time each month to something which isn't going to provide immediate financial returns, which will hopefully pay off in the longer term. And it also gives me something different to focus on, which isn't necessarily direct day-to-day digital marketing. And you learn at the same time, and it helps to invest in something you're passionate about to keep you going when some aspects of work aren't as fun or interesting as you thought they might be. Number 7, say yes to opportunities, even if you don't feel 100% comfortable with them. Now, in saying that, I mean comfortable in the sense of you have this necessary skill set in which to be able to do something. Over the last year, I've been offered quite a few gigs and projects which I wouldn't immediately say I am an expert in. I know enough about it, and that might be a fact that I'm just doubting my own skills, but I said yes all the same. The reason being is that there are loads of experts out there who can help you if you want to collaborate with them on a project, or can just offer you advice and insight into how to do something. For instance, last summer I was asked to run a photo shoot. Now that is something I have never done before. I can go away, do research into the best ways to run a photo shoot, spoke to a number of photographers about how to actually go about doing it, and the end result turned out really well. Normally I would never advertise the fact that I run photo shoots, for example, but if I'd said no, point blank, no, I can't do that, that would have restricted me in terms of working with that client, and which turned out to be a really successful relationship going forwards, which has delivered other work. So if there is anything you feel unconfident about, do try and pursue it anyway. Number 8 is try to be daring. Last winter, I contacted the National Trust directly. If I hadn't done that, I never would have got the job. In turn, led to more business relationships with other people who I was then able to collaborate with, and has led to a really fruitful bunch of work coming in. But that all rests on literally that single message, which, as I've explained in previous vlogs, I didn't feel comfortable in doing. But I got to the point of thinking, well, what have I got to lose? If it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't go anywhere. But the opportunities to work with someone as incredible as the National Trust was what forced me to go on. It's something which I'm still trying to learn, but that level of audacity and that just trying to do something slightly different instead of just passively waiting for work to come to you can have a very big bearing on how successful things go in the future. Number 9, be strict with your time. As a freelancer or someone who's self-employed, you only have a finite number of hours in which you can work each week. Plus the fact your time is the most important asset that you have available to you. In year 1, it is even more important because that can potentially make or break whatever business you are doing. However, in saying that, meetings are probably the bane of most digital marketers' lives, and unfortunately I've ended up being pulled into a huge number of different meetings which, although looked promising on the face of it, have ended up taking up a huge amount of time, both in terms of doing the meetings themselves and travelling both to and from them. This isn't to say that you should never attend meetings and you should try and make yourself as unavailable as possible, but one of the things which I've really been trying to do over the last 3 or 4 months is trying to qualify conversations before actually directly meeting someone. That means that I can potentially just have a call with them, and granted, that's not the most meaningful way of building up a relationship, but it means that we both know what we're letting ourselves in for, and then it also means that whatever meeting ends up being, there's a bit more of an agenda going on, and as a result, more gets done from the meetings. Number 10. Be on top of your accounts. If you become self-employed, you are going to have to fill in a tax return. Though the tax returns are not the most complicated things in the world, they do take an incredible amount of time. And if you're scratching your head about what your expenses were 11 months ago, it pays to keep organised. What's coming in, what's going out, keep a record. Number 11, stay in touch with people. One of the most meaningful work that I've had come in over the last year has come as a result of relationships from former clients, maybe from work that I've done 3, 4, 5 years ago. And just from the fact that staying in contact with those people has meant that often you can be the right person at the right time for when future work comes along, or the fact that they can recommend you onto other people. If you've got a network of contacts or ex-colleagues or anyone else which you haven't recently been in contact with who you feel might be a meaningful business contact, then get in touch with them. You never know what's going to happen. Number 12, the lesson that has been most useful for me to learn is to breathe. That isn't some cliche, but one of the biggest beneficial things which I've done over the last couple of years is by learning to meditate. I use an app called Headspace and I use it on a daily basis. As I mentioned, self-employment is hard from the very fact that you're spending a lot of time battling with your own inner thoughts about what's right and what's wrong. There are periods where you can feel very despondent that work isn't coming in, and there are periods you can feel really overwhelmed when there's too much work. But meditation keeps everything grounded, you can refocus. There are a huge number of apps out there, and it's not to say that Headspace is the right one for you, but if you can incorporate something like meditation into a part of your daily routine, I think that'd be hugely beneficial to you. So there are my 12 things which I hope help if you are thinking about going into the world of freelance, whether that is for digital marketing or another career entirely. I'm going to be carrying on doing this vlog on a monthly basis to keep you updated with what is happening in the second year of freelance digital marketing. But first of all, I just wanted to say a massive, massive thank you to everyone out there who's watched one of these videos, given it a thumbs up or added a comment which I've been able to hopefully follow up with a decent answer. It's been so interesting to see the huge number of people out there which are thinking about going self-employed or going into a career in digital marketing. If you have any questions of your own about what freelance life is like, about what digital marketing life is like, or a combination of the two, then feel free to reach out to me and I'll try my best to answer any of your questions. In the meantime, if you do like any of these videos, then do make sure you give it a thumbs up, add a comment below, or if you want to see about what's going on in the future in freelance digital marketing life, then make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. I'll be back next month with another video covering off what's happening in May 2018. Hopefully I'll be giving you a few more details about what's happening with the Way with Words. Until then, thanks very much for watching. I'll catch you next time.